Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sid's Reviews. Now my first three videos were reviews of electronic products that are familiar to you guys, brand name products. We're talking about the Paradigm Defiant subwoofer, the Klipsch powered monitored speakers, and then the Riga Planar 1 turntable. Today, though, is a company that you may not have heard of because they haven't been around too long. They're a British company. They've been around for probably 2 years, and the name of the company is Iota VX Electronics. And today, I'm doing a review on the Iota VX SA3 Integrated Amplifier. It's a 2-channel amplifier that I've had for about 6 months, and I want to give it a proper review to let you know how I feel about it and is it right for you. Let's go. Okay, so back up about 1.5 years ago when I started to purchase my 2-channel system, and I wanted to get a decent integrated amplifier that handled the things that I needed. I needed a phono preamp. I wanted Bluetooth, I wanted an input to add a subwoofer if I chose to, I wanted optical input, and of course I wanted a remote control, and I wanted decent power to it to power whatever bookshelf speakers I was going to get for it. So after I reviewed online a few reviews and read some stuff on websites like What the Hi-Fi and stuff like that, I noticed over and over that a lot of places were recommending the NAD 3020 version 2. So that's the newer one of their Class D amplifiers that's out there. It had about 30 watts per channel, and it had all those features that I really wanted to have in an integrated amplifier. So I went ahead and I purchased the unit, and it did serve me well for a while, but then I started to notice that I wanted a little bit more power in the speakers. It would, I would crank it up to about 80 or 90%, and it was loud, but it wasn't, I don't know, it just seemed I really needed to dig into it to get the power to the level that I wanted. There's a few other things I didn't like about it either. I didn't really like the remote on it. It was really small with flimsy little buttons on it. It didn't quite have enough inputs on it for me, and there's kind of some quirky things on the back of it to connect like a subwoofer. It gave you like a little dongle and stuff like that. And so anyway, I eventually said, no, I wanted something a little bit better. So I decided to sell it, and then I restarted researching a new integrated 2-channel amplifier. And again, I was looking around for about a price of around, $500-600 type thing. And then on the YouTube channel on Zero Fidelity, Sean introduced this thing, and it really perked my interest. It had all the features I wanted on it. It seemed like it had enough power. It had obviously very good build quality. He said it sounded great. And there's just one thing, I couldn't go try it out obviously because Iota VX only sells on a direct-to-customer model. So you can't buy it on Amazon, you can't see it in any retail stores. You have to go on their website and purchase it. Now, granted, they do deliver it very quickly. I live in Canada, in the middle of Canada, and this thing, by the time I ordered it, was in my house in less than 3 or 4 days to my house here in Canada. So the delivery was very good. I got messages back on, obviously on tracking. I got a thank you from the president or the owner of Iota VX. So I really felt like I was secure in my purchase. Okay, so let me go over the general specs and features of this unit right here. So it's a 2-channel design. The amplifier in it is an AB amplifier, and the specs on it are 90 watts per channel for 4 ohm speakers and 45 watts per channel at 8 ohm speakers. And on the front here you have a volume knob. This is the power button here, and then the volume knob, you could turn it. It could also, you could press it here, and you also get tone controls, so bass and treble, and also balance controls are on it here. And this also, you could switch the inputs on it as well. So the inputs on the back, you got a phono input on here for moving magnet cartridges. You have 5 auxiliary inputs here, a record out, RC record out, also a pre-out if you want to connect an external amplifier for even more power to it. You have your 4-way binding post, which I'll show you around back here in a second. Digital inputs, you have your coax input and also a optical input as well. And then you have trigger outputs here for the dimming and power switches when you connect it to the external matching PA3 amplifier, which I'll show you later on in the video. And then as well, there's an external Bluetooth dongle, which is extra that you have to pay for, but that's how it comes with the Bluetooth feature as well. So I'll turn around the unit and show you around quickly around back, and then I'll get to the review on how I think that this unit sounds. Coming right back. Alright, one thing as well, I wanted to show you guys the remote on this unit, because I think remotes are often overlooked when it comes to component reviews, but I really wanted to show you guys this one and the features of it. So as you can see, it's a full function remote control here for the integrated amp. Up top you have the power button and then the mute button over here. Nice touch here is the input, so you get direct button inputs for each one. It's not just a scroll up, scroll down to the next input, then you have to toggle till you get to the right one. Here you could go to your direct inputs, whichever you use, phono, coaxial, optical. The extension port, so this is actually for Bluetooth. So when you hit that and the Bluetooth dongle there is attached to the back of the unit, this will go to Bluetooth, find your phone, and then from here you can control the songs that you're listening to on your Bluetooth on your phone. So this will play, pause, and it'll also do previous track and next track as well. Another nice feature that a lot of remotes are often overlooked. Here you have buttons for, I believe, another unit that's coming out later this year. I believe this is for the CD slash streaming unit that Iota VX is coming out with, so looking forward to seeing that. And here obviously you got your volume up and down, the audio, so this will control your bass and treble and balance features, and this is the dim mode, so this will completely dim the display, and then it gives you 10 features here for the intensity of the light that you'd like on your display. So that's really great. And I believe these are also for the CD button or CD player that's coming out later on in the year. So right now that's not in use. So there you have it. There's a remote for the unit, and now let's get back to the review. Okay guys, so here's the back of the unit. This will be pretty short and sweet because I already kind of spoke about what the back of the unit here looks like. But quickly, here's your phono input to hook up a record player for moving magnet cartridges. You got your 5 line inputs here. Here's your record out input outputs, and then pre-outs here if you want to record or use up a external amplifier. Subwoofer out if you want to hook up subwoofer to it. Your 2 very nice heavy-duty binding posts for your speakers, which is really nice. Some of them are cheap on some other integrated amplifiers, not this one. Switch here to go from stereo mode, so if you're using just this unit as your main amp, then you put it on stereo, or mono mode if you're going to bridge it to the PA3 amplifier, which I'll show you later. Coaxial, so your digital inputs, coaxial in, optical in. Your trigger outputs, dimmer out, so this is to control the power and the dimmer onto another model as well. That's where you hook up the Bluetooth dongle here into this space right here, so it sticks out back. And then also your AC output, and I'm glad here it's detachable on there. I think that's a nice feature as well. So yeah, that's about it, and let's continue on with the review. Okay, so when I saw the video of Sean's review from Zero Fidelity on this unit, there are a few things that struck me that really piqued my interest on it. Number one was the overall look of it. I mean, I like it because it looks like a very solid unit. It weighs about 12 pounds on it, and it's really constructed really well. This is a hefty item that definitely feels like it is the total quality from what I'm looking for in here. The other thing is, I do like the look of it. I like the front display on it. I like that it's dimmable. It's a big display on it, so it shows you, you know, even from far away, you know, what input you're on, and also, you know, the volume display on it. I like the way it scrolls, and just the touch and feel of the overall unit just screams quality to me. The other thing I liked about it was the power of the unit. So I went from a 30 watt amplifier, my old, the other NAD 3020V version 2, to this one, which stepped up to 45 watts a channel. But let me tell you, the difference is only 15 watts per channel, but it feels much more than that. This unit is definitely punchier. It sounds like really more beefy to it, just more slam, I guess, to the sound. And maybe that's attributed to that I went from a Class D amplifier to a Class AB. Maybe it's just maybe the amplifier design does have something to do with that. The other thing I like about this is this was an amplifier well within my budget. So here in Canada, it converts to, I believe, around $700 for this unit Canadian, and that's delivered to your door with all taxes in and stuff like that. So $700 is pretty good for an amplifier that has this kind of features in it. In the US, I believe it's about $550 US for it. And like I said, you order directly from Iota VX on the website, and they'll deliver it to your door within probably 5 days for it. So that's one thing that I liked about it. So the sound that you're going to get on this unit, I think, is very neutral sounding. So if you have a pair of speakers that are lively, let's say like Klipsch's or Focal, well, you're going to get kind of a livelier sound to it. If you have kind of warmer speakers to it, then hey, this amp is going to do kind of lay it back and just be the speakers, let them be themselves in it. And that's what I really like about it. But also, you don't need to be afraid of what type of speakers you pair this to. Because the overall tone of this amplifier is neutral, it's going to pair well with a lot of speakers out there. So, you know, from the lively ones to the warmer ones. So you choose your speakers, and then you're going to get that sound out of it, because this amplifier is not going to color that sound. It is going to give you a very punchy sound though, so I think there's very good dynamics with it. It seems like this amplifier sound has a lot of meat on the bones to it, and it just makes everything sound really good no matter what type of music you play. I listen to all kinds of genres of music, from rap and classic rock and hip hop and stuff like that, and everything just sounds really good to me through this amp. And this is regardless of what input you have. So even on my vinyl, the phono preamp in here is actually pretty decent for what you get for a built-in integrated amp. Of course, if you want to upgrade your phono preamplifier, you could do that, which I also do have a phono preamplifier, an external one, but the built-in one in here is very good, and you don't need to go out and spend extra money to get one. This one is actually really good. That's built inside of it. The Bluetooth as well. A lot of people, you know, especially in the hi-fi industry, they complain about the quality of Bluetooth music coming, you know, streaming through their phone and stuff. But this Bluetooth adapter in here, this dongle that you stick in, the quality that comes out of the Bluetooth right here is exceptional, in my opinion. It is aptX quality, so it's CD quality that comes out of it, and I think it's very good. It's much better than the one that I had in the old NAD 3020 version 2. Whatever they did, the circuits in this thing, it is much better, and I think that's the reason why that they made this thing external in here, because a lot of times I think if you put the Bluetooth inside the unit, you know, it could introduce like artifacts for like some interference noise or unwanted noise that you want, and they wanted to keep this thing as streamlined as possible without, you know, anything that could possibly interfere on the sound of it. So the Bluetooth is very, very good on this as well. The DAC inside it, so when you plug it into from, if you have a CD player and you plug it into here, the DAC on it is actually really good as well. You know, I don't think it's like you know, they just, you know, it was an afterthought or something. I think they did really put in some quality components in it, and the DAC in here is surprisingly good. I do use an external DAC, however, when I do my CD playing. So I take my digital out, put it in through my DAC, then put it in through the analog inputs in here. And it is a little bit better. I think it's subtle though, the difference is. When I do switch it back and forth, I'm surprised on how good this is. So again, you don't need to go out and buy a separate component. So if you buy this thing, it's kind of an all-in-one solution, and I think you'll be very, very happy with the sound on it. Okay, so what we got here below the SA3 is the Iota VX PA3 amplifier only. So as you can see, it's pretty much a clone of what the SA3 is, minus the display, you know, the volume knob, and then of course all the inputs in it. This is just an amplifier. This amplifier is 45 watts per channel at 8 ohms. exact same as the SA3 amp, and 90 watts at 4 ohms, same as the SA3 amp. And I bought this together because I thought, you know what, if I'm going to buy this thing, I want to have enough power just to make sure. I mean, I'm in my basement here. It's a fairly large room, and just in case it needed it. So I'm glad I did. But the big question is now, when you hook these two up, does it change the sound of the overall sound of the SA3 integrated amplifier? The answer is yes, a little bit, I think subtly. I think there's a little bit more liveliness to the sound. There's a little bit more slam to it. The bass is a little bit more pronounced. The mid-range is a little bit more forward. So yes, I think you do get a bit more overall sound when you put these two together. This one retails for, I believe, $299 US, and I believe about $350 or $400 Canadian. So you put all these two together, you're looking at about $1,300 Canadian for these two. Plus the dongle for the Bluetooth was $50 for it. So yeah, so this whole thing costs about $1,300. But again, would I, if I did it all over again, would I buy both these at the same time? I probably would, but if I just had like a small studio apartment or a room that I'm going to be playing my 2-channel music in, this thing has plenty of power to drive your speakers loud and clean on its own without the PA3 amplifier. But if you just like, you know, that extra little bit more headroom, I guess, in the volume, or you want your music maybe sound slightly more punchier, then I suggest you get both of them together. And man, that's one heck of a system you got here, that's for sure. So the total power you're going to get with these when you put them together is, obviously there's 45 watts, so it's 90 watts, or they say 100 watts actually per channel when you combine these two together with your speakers at 8 ohms, and I believe 180 watts at 4 ohms with these. So yeah, when you put it together, obviously you're essentially doubling the power of it. Okay, so my final thoughts here on this Iota VX SA3 integrated amp is this. I know there's a lot of competition out there for it, and believe me, when I was looking at you know, what next integrated amp to buy, the choices are endless on there. I mean, you got Riga and Yamaha and Marantz and Denon, and I mean the list just literally goes on and on. Every manufacturer sells a 2-channel integrated amp, but with that comes with a lot of them have some features on them. Some of them may have some of the features on them that you want. Some of them don't. You might have to sacrifice for that. But the last thing is, most of them all have a certain tone, a certain color that they'll color the music or the amplifier that you know, that will obviously reflect the way your speakers sound and ultimately the way your music sounds. Now, how do you know which one is going to be your taste? How do you know which one is going to match up to your components properly? How's it going to make your speakers sound? What kind of room are you putting it in? All those things come down to the heart of your system, the 2-channel amplifier, and it starts in there. This is the heart of your system in there. And to me, when Sean at Zero Fidelity did that review and he said that this one is neutral, that is when I said, okay, maybe that's the one that I want to try into my home. Because I know no matter what type of speakers you get with it, I know, and no matter what kind of music you play with it, it's going to let those things kind of dictate what the sound is going to be. And I'm okay with that. If the amplifier, all it's doing is bringing in the inputs and putting out a fairly neutral sound, that's exactly what I want. And I wanted something with decent power, with lots of features, with good build quality. And this thing sounds great at high volumes, and it sounds great at low volumes, especially paired with the PA3 amp as well in there. You get this thing on like very quiet, and you can still hear details into the music and stuff like that. It's really great for that. So that is another plus of it. So I just figured with all those features, and the price was well within my budget, it made so much sense to me to give a chance on this, and I'm sure glad I did. The people at Iota VX, they've answered all my questions. They delivered fast. They seem really good. They're going to back up their product if anything goes wrong with it, and that to me is a real winner. So I've had it now for 6 months, and I'm glad I did. So what do you guys think? You know, do you guys have any questions about this item at all? If you do, feel free to comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think. And that's it. So that's it for right now for the the SA3 integrated amp from Iota. On to the next video. See you next time.